Voice of Indonesia. VOR.
Voice of Indonesia from Indonesia to the world. VOI listeners and viewers. This year, World Radio Day is celebrated. It's the 12th edition of the World Radio Day that will be celebrated on February 13, 2023. And Voice of Indonesia has prepared a series of special programs to celebrate the day. One of them is a special interview. And on this occasion, we would like to have a special interview with Viktoria Kriukova, broadcaster of Ukraine Global for Radio Ukraine International, who is already joining us on Zoom. So let's say hello to Viktoria Kriukova. Hello, good afternoon from Jakarta, Indonesia, and good morning to you.
Hello, it's very nice to see you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Well, just usual day for Ukrainians, no air alert, so it's already good.
Okay, like what I told you and the listeners and viewers of Voice of Indonesia, the world is celebrating the 12th edition of the World Radio Day on February 13, 2023, with the theme Radio and Peace. How about for Radio Ukraine International? How special the commemoration day, the special meaning?
Well, I just want to say that, first of all, we have this official celebration for every radio worker. It was last year. It was in November, and we have official radio day in November. But of course, we celebrate this day, but it's more informal, because now we have this situation, pretty difficult, the war. And when we are doing our job, the air raid alert can sound anytime, and you just need to go to the bomb shelter and to hide. So you never know what will happen next, and we will not have really a big or a huge celebration. We just congratulate each other and say, congratulations with professional day, and let's just, drink coffee and tell something good to yourself, because it's really strange right now in our country, and we are living in new conditions.
Yes, indeed, but just keep broadcasting the news and information for the listeners. How about special events or programs that the Radio Ukraine International will have?
Usually we are having this everyday news blog. So we are preparing news and then we are recording it. And every day the situation is changes. And we are, it's called security issue. So we are mostly talking about political and international topics. And then we also have this Ukraine Global. It's a program which I do personally. It's a socio-political program, and we are trying to cover different topics, including also not only political, but social, psychological, economical. And for me, it's really important, and it's really cool program. I'm starting to do it from Monday. Then I'm doing it the whole week until the end of the week. We finished to do the program and we are releasing it. So it seems like that.
Okay, and also on the World Radio Day, it will keep going on like that.
Yes, we will just do our job as usual. We will do news, and we start to prepare to do the new program, Ukraine Global.
Okay. And back to the World Radio Day, UNESCO itself highlights independent radio as a pillar for conflict prevention and peace building for this year's theme, which is radio and peace. So how do you assess the role of radio in preventing conflict?
Well, for me, radio has always been my dream. I always wanted to work on radio, to work my voice, pronunciation. I loved English. and I wanted just to do something useful for my country. And I really love journalism. I was passionate about it. And among all the three types of media, like newspapers, TV, radio, I think is the best for me. But it's only my personal opinion. I think that, of course, TV now is the most popular among the Ukrainians. And a lot of people are watching TV, but still in their kitchen, they want to hear the news. They just switch on radio, and it's the fastest, I think, way to get information, because to read newspaper is pretty a long and boring process. And sometimes you just need to switch on radio and it will be much easier. And I also want to tell that I think that radio in general, as every media, the main purpose of it is to tell people the truth, like the facts, the real one. So it is something for me about changing the perception of how people see the things, what they think, what they stand for. And in the times when we have propaganda, when we have Russian propaganda, when we live in the war, it is especially important and crucial to hear the truth, to hear the real news. And that is why I think it is one of the most important media sources right now, radio. And when we were attacked a year ago, like, of course, we have the war, but when was the hottest phase, our TV speakers and presenters and journalists, they moved to Lviv. It's another Ukrainian city, and they broadcasted from there, from the bomb shelter. So we can do it in different circumstances.
Wow, the accuracy of the news, that's what really matters to prevent conflict. So it's in line with the World Radio's theme this year, Radio and Peace, right? And radio stations should serve diverse communities, offering a wide variety of programs, viewpoints, contents, reflecting the diversity of audiences in their organizations or operations. So, in your opinion, how a professional radio station should maintain its impartiality, since its budget is from the government?
Well, about impartiality, it's really important topic, especially in Ukraine, because unfortunately we have a lot of TV channels and media resources who are dependent from their owners. Mostly they are oligarchs, and this media resource usually try to represent the point of view of this oligarch, and it is kind of frustrating and disappointing. So the main thing for me is I think we need to stick to the BBC standards. It is when population and society finances the media, and it is the best and the most honest way for me to get information. When it is not state-owned, because that's how you currently you are balancing between your own opinion and the opinion of the state. And it's also tricky. So for me, and I think we are moving to this aim, Suspilne, the media I represent, is a public radio station. So people pay taxes, and some part of it goes to the financing of the independent Ukrainian media. Still, I understand that we are kind of dependent from the government, but we are moving to the better future. Let's say like this, BBC future. And the BBC standards, they are really the best ones. And I think, the classical journalism should look like that. And I'm happy that I represent the media, which one of the examples of it.
Okay, and like what you told us before, that radio is still widely consumed as it's not time consuming, and we do agree to say that its unique ability to reach out the widest audience means radio can shape a society's experience of diversity, stand as an arena for all voices to speak out, be represented and heard. So what does a radio station have to do to be engaged with the communities and listeners?
Well, first of all, and foremost, I think the most important is to communicate with ordinary people. just to build the connection, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do in my program. I'm trying to cover different topics and to connect with different people. For me, it's very interesting to tell about the theater director in Kyiv, at the same time to tell about the bus driver who is doing his job, and he does it pretty good. And actually, he is the one who is building the country. So we made the programs, for example, about war prisoners and about education. And it was very interesting to hear how simple Ukrainians, they just told that, yes, we are living in different conditions and circumstances, but we are still continue to do so. And this is the real voice of Ukrainians, because they represent my country right now. So I think we just need to go directly to people to ask their opinion and to make their voice be heard. This is the simplest way. And I'm really trying to connect with different people in my program, and to try to find the real stories, So that's the solution, I think.
Yeah, meet directly in person, with the communities. Okay, and since radio stations should serve diverse communities, offering a wide variety of programs and contents, how does Radio Ukraine International vary its program to fulfill listeners' need of information?
Well, it's kind of challenging because you need somehow to make interesting program about Ukraine, but take into account foreign audience and the topics they're interested in. So I would say that we are working to make interesting content about Ukraine, with specific target on foreigners. So we just try to monitor all the media resources abroad and to understand which topics are the most interesting for them. But mostly for me, I think, as the author of the program, I just want to tell the truth and the real story of what is going on in Ukraine, and to tell it not just in analytical, but at the same time in the poetical way. I don't know, it's just my desire to show it to people and foreigners. They are they are writing me. A lot of people started to write me in Facebook, and they said, like, you are doing really a good program. So I feel that I'm getting feedback, and it's important because I'm doing this for them. Maybe we don't have a huge audience, but still we have some amount of them, and it's already good.
The feedback, yes. Every time we get feedback, that's like huge response, and then unforgettable things and the best things that we can get as a broadcaster, right? And in Radio Ukraine International itself, you said it targets foreigners. So besides English, are there any foreign languages?
Yeah, of course. We have Romanian, we have German, we have, unfortunately, yet Russian, but it's a matter of time. And but yeah, we have different languages, and we are trying to mostly to communicate with foreigners, and we upload it to podcast because it's the best way right now for people to hear it. The website is good, but it's not really so popular as podcast. So yeah, we have some my colleagues, they're working abroad. Some of them moved because of the war abroad, so they're helping, and they're doing their job from Poland, and they are releasing their materials and translating and recording news from there. So it's really multinational,
Okay, so what would you like to say to radio listeners around the world on this occasion of World Radio Day, please?
I want to say thank you very much, first of all, for having me and giving this possibility. I just love my job. I want to do it as good as I can. I want to inform people, but not just to tell some information as a robot, I just want to give the real stories, emotions, because media for me is about emotion, Usually you are reading some news and it's all about the facts. Of course, media is about facts, but what people react on is emotions. So they need to be triggered by something. They need to feel something. So I'm working on this, how to make my materials more interesting and emotional. And I really want to say that we are talking about radio, but still, thank you very much for having me again. And don't forget, please, about Ukraine. About my country. It's really important for me, for every Ukrainian, because we are progressing. Despite the war, despite all the difficulties, we are moving towards some aim, and I know we will win, but it's hard with economy, but still I feel this unity and desire to live in a free and democratic country, and I really didn't witness it before. And radio is just a tool to make Ukraine's voice abroad loud enough to everyone. Something like that. Thank you.
All right, Viktoria Kriukova, thank you so much for sharing your views on this World Radio Day. Keep healthy and keep broadcasting wherever you are.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, VOI listeners and viewers, that's our special interview with broadcaster of Ukraine Global for Radio Ukraine International, Viktoria Kriukova, on the occasion of the World Radio Day that falls on February 13, 2023. Stay tuned for more inspiring, interesting interview only on Voice of Indonesia, from Indonesia to the world.
Voice of Indonesia.